Hi guys, I am so excited about this first video. I am passionate, as you all know, those of you who know me know this, passionate about autism. I want to educate everybody and to be able to express my feelings and share the experiences that I've had because I'm a teacher and a parent. So I hope that you enjoy this first video. So what is autism spectrum disorder? Well, good question. The autism spectrum disorder is exactly how it sounds. It's a spectrum. So there's a lot of things that are included in there. Now, in the old days, you had people say, well, my child has Asperger's. And of course, everyone understood what that meant. And so I think that over time, we have learned that there's a lot of things that are treated the same. And so that's why they've combined them in the DSM-5. So that is the reason why they did that. But unfortunately, because they have combined it, parents and teachers and friends are confused. They're like, okay, autism spectrum disorder, what does that mean? Well, let's talk about that for a moment. So when a parent first notices something's going on with their child, they're noticing that maybe they're a little bit delayed. Maybe they don't speak like all the other kids. Maybe they are acting a little bit odd. They might go to their doctor, and the doctor typically at their routine checkup, they're going to ask a series of questions anyway. There's little red flags. So let's talk about those little red flags. So the little red flags would be something like maybe your child, again, has not been able to speak. They can't communicate with you. They don't know how. Instead, they throw tantrums or they get upset when you don't understand what they need. Maybe your child does repetitive things like flapping their arms or twirling or clicking noises, or maybe your child cannot make eye contact with you. You talk to them, they act like they're ignoring you, like they don't really are listening to you. Those are little red flags. Maybe your child doesn't know how to play with other kids. And so those are all red flags. So when you go see the doctor, your doctor will look for those red flags, and then they will refer you to a psychiatrist or psychologist who will do the testing. Now, when they do the testing, there's a lot of things they're going to do. They're going to test IQ more than likely. They're going to ask a lot of questions. One of the things they might do is they may ask you to fill out a questionnaire, maybe have other family members fill it out. Maybe if they're in school, they will have the teachers fill it out, their preschool teachers fill it out. All of this data will be collected, and then the professional, the psychiatrist or psychologist, will take all the information and together decide whether or not it fits the criteria according to the DSM-5, if it's autism spectrum disorder. And that is the first step. Now, as a parent, I will tell you that getting a diagnosis of autism, it's not very pretty because they don't really know. Even to this day, they don't really know how to treat it because every child is different. And so it all depends on what's going on with your child. So your child might have delays in speech. So then guess what? You'll go to a speech therapist. You'll get another evaluation done. You'll have to fill out another questionnaire. Maybe have to pass it on to other people as well. So all of this is going to be a series of events, and your life will change. It did for me. It all became about getting my children to their therapy sessions. For a very long time, my world revolved around that. So be prepared. Autism spectrum disorder is a broad spectrum. So you have children who are as smart as Einstein, all the way down to children who cannot speak or have issues with potty training. Maybe they will never get potty trained. So that is the large spectrum that we're talking about. And then another thing about autism is that you might have another diagnosis. So it may not just be autism spectrum disorder. You might find out that your child also has ADHD. Now, that is the hardest part about all of this, is that I call them the A, B, C, D, E, F, Gs. So you're going to have to go through all this testing, and you might find out that your child has multiple diagnoses. And that's okay, but just know that it's not the end of the world. You will get through it. It'll become your new life. You will know more about those diagnoses than any other person in the world. There's a lot of misinformation out there about autism. I know that there's a lot of parents who are looking for a magic pill. They're looking for the cure. And there is no cure. Currently, there is no cure for autism. However, there are ways that you can help your children excel and succeed. And this is the way. Early intervention is key. And I can't stress that enough. Because when parents wait too long, they're missing the window of opportunity to help their child. And so in the state of Alabama, we have the early intervention services that are they're great because they're free and they are able to come to your home or they'll go to your preschool. And if you get your child in before the age of 3, this is the critical part. It's free. They will continue it on until they start school. And then once they start school, guess what? They can get services at the school. So it's just a way to get the ball rolling. Even if your child is homeschooled, it is imperative that you know how to best teach your child and how to best reach your child so that they can reach their full potential. Because in reality, that is what our job is as a parent, as a caregiver, is to help that child reach their full potential. So that is my mission, is to help each child reach their full potential. So early intervention is key. Now let's talk about a little bit of the quirks and things that go along with autism. So as a teacher, I have seen so many different things, but some of the commonalities are usually you have sensory issues. So a child, and this is another red flag, by the way, if you have a child going like this, they overwhelmed by sound stimuli. If you have a child who is very sensitive to clothing, the types of materials they wear. If you have a child who is very picky eater, beyond picky than you've ever seen in your life, those are really red flags. I think that it's misunderstood that, some people, I actually had someone ask me this at a workshop that I did years ago, and I just cannot believe they asked me this. They asked me if autistic kids have feelings. Now, I want to be clear. These children, they may act like they may have a robotic inflection. They may not make eye contact. They might look like they're in a different world sometimes. But they feel more intense, more deeply than any other children in the world. Children with autism have an overload of sensory overload constantly. They're bombarded by all things. And so at times they do have to shut down in order to cope. But they feel things very deeply. They love. They feel remorse. They feel compassion. They have all the same feelings that other children have. It's just exhibited differently. And sometimes it's because of that they are overwhelmed. And so they might get their feelings hurt easily. They may not be able to understand why people are acting the way they are. And so that is one of the things I wanted to make sure that y'all heard today. Another thing is that social skills is the key to the reason why, they are diagnosed with autism. Their social skills are always going to be a little bit delayed. They have to script things in their mind. And as parents, when they're younger, we have to script it for them. Different scenarios and situations and how you act in those situations, what's appropriate and what's not. That's really key to helping them live a normal life, an independent life. And so you have, even like in high school where I teach, children that are still trying to figure out how to make friends, or even more simply, how to join a conversation. So all of these things are the reality for them. And as a parent and caregiver, we need to remember that we can help them by providing those opportunities and where they have a safe environment and they can be taught how to act appropriately. So autism, again, a broad spectrum. Early intervention is key. Make sure that you get help as soon as you can. The results are amazing. I have seen miraculous things happen with early intervention. So I hope that you have a better understanding of autism. I try to keep these videos short and sweet, but not at the expense of making sure that you hear some very important information. In the next video, I will talk a little bit more about ADHD, and I will answer any questions that I am presented with in the meantime. I'm hoping that you all are having a great week so far, and I hope that y'all have success in the journey that you are going through, whatever it might be. And so take care, and I will see y'all soon. Bye.